So, at this moment in time, not including this one, we've done about 4 or 5 videos that have been critically covering the essentially the fine tooth comb that is being going over the Japan deal. Now, one of the things that I've constantly said is that we need to be careful with these trade deals, because when you sign them, you can't get out of them. It's a lot harder to get out of them than it is anything else. And the other thing I have said is that a lot of these trade deals, including the much vaunted American one, would be used as an opportunity to essentially do deregulation through the back door, and essentially completely bypass or even get rid of laws that are on the books. Now, of course, this means that much vaunted thing that the Brexiteers didn't seem to like when Europe was doing it to us. But bizarrely, in this case, where Japan has dismantled the UK's data protection laws, because that's what is done and that's what we're about to get into, not a single Brexiteer, or you will not hear a single Brexiteer crying about sovereignty. So before we do get into it, please do remember to hit that like and share button, and of course please do consider becoming my Patreon down below, link down in the description, as well as the one-off donation link. And thank you very much to the people that do support me. So on with yet more reasons just how bad the UK-Japan trade deal really is. So this comes from politics.co.uk, and the UK-Japan deal dismantles the UK's privacy protections. So, how can you commit the UK to changing its laws without asking Parliament first? Sounds like a riddle, but it really isn't. Well, there's one obvious way. Put them in a trade deal. The recent UK-Japan deal negotiated by Truss commits the UK to weakening the restrictions on data transfers by accepting lower privacy standards. These commitments are aligned with those in the other trade agreements the government wishes to sign. Yet, this strategy has never been voted on, analysed, or even explained to Parliament. The government's impact assessment has barely 2 lines on data transfer. They merely described what is intended, but offer no analysis of the impact. Such is the woeful level of information Number 10 has supplied to Parliament and indeed the public. And there was very little telling to test of Parliament. The procedures for trade agreements were rightly criticised as giving Parliament a very weak role in negotiations. They have no prior sight of even the documents. They do not set the negotiation mandate. They can only potentially vote on the substantive result. Now we finally see that result. How will Parliament react? Will backbench MPs oppose and the Lords hold the government to account? The first thing Parliament needs is information, which it has been denied. On digital privacies, academics are warning that the agreement pushes weaker protections for data transfers. In this, it aligns with the government's ambition to join the Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for the Trans-Pacific Partnership, which has similar standards. In a worst-case scenario, these agreements could end up with a mess of dual standards for data in the UK, or a loss of equivalency with Europe. Neither would be good for business, let alone privacy. We need to know what aligning with lower standards for transfers means for customers. Will their rights be weakened? And how would problems be fixed? Does the government have any assessment of these problems? If it does, why are they not available and included in the impact assessment? Navigating multiple, possibly conflicting regulatory aligned regimes is not a mean feat. And academics at the UK Trade Policy Observatory wrote recently, and a careful analysis of how best to do this and the implications of moving away from the EU's approach is needed. What are the implications of the new UK-Japan provisions for data protection and privacy? And for an adequate decision from the EU. The answers are far from obvious, and the stakes are high, and the government's approach needs to be carefully analysed before the UK-Japan deal is ratified. Our current standards, which originate with the EU, state that only countries with high data protection can be categorised as safe, and they are there to safeguard customer privacy. Deviating from those towards a more lax American model is a calamitous decision. Even the US Congress think that US law is atrocious and that there is a push across the Atlantic to provide a basic privacy safety net. Digital privacy isn't the only danger area in the deal. There are also restrictions to prevent algorithmic transparency, to deny access to source code, and to make multiple online platforms protections from liability contingent upon copyright enforcement. There are also protections for technical protection mechanisms which may have implications for the right to repair your own devices. Answers are needed in all these areas, but instead the government is effectively asking us to look the other way. So it doesn't have to be this way. Downing Street can seek to freeze the articles in the deal or even amend them back to the status quo to position in the EU-Japan agreement. This need not be a fait accompli, but Parliament must act now if it is to be stopped. So, essentially what I would recommend, because once again, we are seeing just how bad this deal is, my recommendation to you is quite simply this. Go to politics.co.uk, get out, copy and paste the positions, the problems that are here of what it's going to take away. Then format those into a letter for your MP, and then send this letter to your MP. I have just done so this morning. I've sent an email to Dan Jarvis asking him to act on this, because this is clearly not acceptable, but this is what, again, the Brexiteers claim they want. But here we are, acquiescing to a foreign government to essentially implement their laws. And I thought, Brexiteers, we were against this. And of course, these are going to have huge problems. For example, one of the things there, right to repair your own devices. So if you buy a phone, you could lose the right to repair it. That's huge. Not only that, but lack of interest on platforms for the algorithm. We need to know how algorithms work, essentially, if they're up to no good. The Japan deal, the more it gets looked at, the worse it becomes. The worse it becomes. And as I always said, all these trade deals are just an excuse to do deregulation through the back door. And we could end up with competing multiple standards. And it is just going to cause chaos to British business. Because which standards do you follow? It's going to be chaos. But that is essentially Brexit and what we can expect more of next year. And it's not going to be good. Oh, it's not going to be good at all. But there you go. So yeah, please do like and share this video, because this is a message that needs to get out. And quite frankly, if you are horrified by this, then please do what I said. Please do write to your MP, warn them about this. They need to act, and they need to act now. This is important. So, with that said, please do remember, like and share, because this message is important. Also, if you would like to become my Patreon or even give me a one-off donation, there are links down below to do so. And thank you very much to the people that have done so and do support me that way. And as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you all next time.